watching the Western Athletic Conference on ESPN. Welcome to Abilene, Texas, and the Teak Special Events Center. For this good matchup in the WAC today, it is Utgrv and Abilene Christian meeting for the second time this season. Take a look at the WAC standings coming in. The importance of this one, Seattle U and New Mexico State at the top of this thing. And ACU all of a sudden is just a game out of fourth place right now. Utgrv sitting down there at 2-8 on this season. We say welcome courtside, everybody. Zach Carlisle along with Joseph Chapa, Connor Mullins coming up as well. Second meeting in 11 days between these two teams, and they played an incredible one the first time around. I'm excited for the rematch.
I'm super excited, Zach, and if there's one thing that we know about these two ball clubs is that they are heavyweight fighters. I think now the people here at the Teak Center after this long, cold winter past couple of weekends, they want to see a heavyweight fight between these two teams.
Let's take a look at our impact players. Justin Johnson is the top scorer, 17 a game for Utgrv, and Makai Morris, the second leading scorer for the Wildcats.
Well, these are two great efficient scorers. Starting with Justin, he does a great job of just taking the load off his teammates on the offense of getting to his spots on the floor. With Makai Morris, he's had a recent high success in the mid-range. Look for these two guys to get high efficient jump shots here in this ball game.
Can't wait for it. How about we rewind to 11 days ago? Let's talk about the first matchup between these two teams. For more on that, let's send it over to Connor Mullins.
Wildcats junior forward Arion Simmons hit a three with 9 seconds to play against the Vaqueros to beat them 11 days ago. The Vaqueros had a 99% chance to win that game with 2 minutes left to play, according to ESPN.com, and Wildcats head coach Brett Tanner said that it was a miracle in the Valley. They know they let one get away, and we know that we stole that one. We've had some tight games recently, but that's because of the way we play. We're going to have to do a heck of a job to win this dogfight. Guys, back to you.
Connor, thank you very much. And you know, on the other side of that thing, Matt Figger said yesterday, hey, we're playing in a cold day in Abilene, and revenge is a dish best served cold. So away we go. Can't wait for this one.
I can't wait, Zach. And I know for these Utgrv players, I know that they don't get this type of weather, this type of snow back at home. And now that you want to enjoy that snow, but this is a business trip for them. They know that they can hang with this team, and they want to have a part two of what happened on January 26th back at the field house in Edinburgh.
Off we go from Abilene, Texas. Can't wait for this matchup. This has been circled ever since that crazy ending. Xavier Johnson gets it started with a triple. You see the starters with Adewunmi there, and then Justin Johnson, who we highlighted in the open, Ricky Nelson as well, and Raekwon Taylor. Abilene Christian has had this same starting five for each of the last 5 games now, as Makai Morris has a three that's no good. Tobias Cameron making his 5th straight start. Morris, Miller, Mason, and Arion Simmons is the 5-man for ACU. It's a foul at this end of the floor, and it's on Morris defending Justin Johnson. Well, that was a quick three for Utgrv that first trip.
Well, that's how you send the message as a, hey, this is kind of like a, best of 3 series, even though this is the last time they're going to play. But it's like, hey, we are ready. We want to go back to what we left off on because they feel like they have a chance to win against this team, and they felt like the game at the Fieldhouse got away. And right here, the hustle and the early start is a testament to that.
Utgrv coming off of a win against Lamar this past Wednesday night at home. No good that time from Johnson. Arion Simmons floats one in transition. Cameron ended up with it. And that win for the Vaqueros snapped a 4-game losing streak. ACU's won 4 in a row. Simmons to the paint for 2. He was the hero in the matchup 11 days ago.
Well, he was, and all I saw on Twitter was from both Utgrv fans and ACU fans was he's got ice in his veins, and right there just getting the second chance points and being able to get back into this game right here starting on the break. Let's see what they can do in transition.
Xavier Johnson missing that 3. Simmons is the trailer, and he's got the first 5 with a friendly bounce.
Speaking of ice in his veins, and that's what a big guard like Arion Simmons does. He can stretch the floor, he can attack the rim in transition downhill. He's a great all-around player. Utgrv has his name and number circled on the defensive end.
ACU coming off of a win against Chicago State on Wednesday at home, 77-73. Johnson's already launched a couple of threes. Xavier Johnson. And a backside pass looking for Justin Johnson is a turnover. Matt Figger, he's the one who said, hey, we gotta figure out how to serve revenge on the road. First-year head coach coming over from Austin P from the Ohio Valley Conference. He's won 83 games in his time as a coach. Was on that Final Four staff at South Carolina in 2017. Was at Kansas State, South Alabama, a couple of different places as well. Good coach for the Vaqueros. Cameron, corner three. Merrick Nelson into the game early, the rebound, and then the turnover. No one does this better than Abilene Christian. Turnovers into points.
I mean, that's what Coach Tanner said this past Monday on his coach's show, was that the Wildcats need to go back to playing ACU basketball, and what that meant is that getting turnovers, being tough, just playing that defensive masterminded team that Coach Tanner coaches this team to be.
Justin Johnson, second attempt from the floor for number one. Makai Morris. And a foul on this rebound attempt. As we take a peek at Brett Tanner, the other first-year head coach in this matchup. 15-7 so far this year. 4 straight wins for these Wildcats after losing 5 in a row. They have turned things around.
They really have, Zach, and this is the perfect. They couldn't ask for a better situation than this. You struggle early in the season against really the top teams in the conference, and now you're on a win streak. This is what they needed to do. They needed to go back to playing Wildcat basketball, and now they want to see if they can ascend to 5, but it's going to be a challenge against a UTRGV team that I believe is better than what the record says.
Xavier Johnson again, he's been busy, number 13. Into the paint for Justin Johnson, that's an and one.
Well, that was just a great find right there. Backdoor cuts will lead to success, and even if you're a high flyer like him, and right here just reading off the back cut, right there, and then you see the slam right there, especially if you got a high flyer who can dunk over the trees in the paint against this ACU defense.
Justin Johnson. Always on the floor, always scoring the ball. The first-year Vaquero coming over from Southern Miss. It's been a season over there. Was at South Georgia Tech for a couple of seasons as well. He started all but 2 games and averaging 17 points a game. Top 4 in the conference. Subs in for Abilene Christian. Damian Daniels runs point. In fact, 4 subs for the Wildcats with Cameron Steele. And he's got it in the paint from Mason. They find the big fella.
You know, as Cameron Steele was rolling, I was like, okay, UTRGV's got to recover, but then right there, Corian just read it correctly with an easy finish.
Johnson again on the move. Ball off, and Jay-Sean Jackson will keep the possession for Abilene Christian, a freshman out of San Antonio. Electric talent for the Wildcats. Daniels, a big factor in that crazy win against UTRGV. He'll launch a 3, good.
And speaking of electric talent, Zach, that's all over the Wildcats roster. There's a step out right there, forcing them back to their ball.
That is just the 8th 3 for Damian Daniels on the season, and the Wildcats lead by 6. Abilene Christian doubling up UTRGV so far, 12-6. This game's got implications in the WAC standings. Let's talk about that more. Send it over to Connor Mullins.
ACU's looking for their 5th straight WAC win after beating California Baptist, UTRGV, Lamar, and Chicago State. The Wildcats currently sit 7th in the WAC, while the Vaqueros sit 12th. The top 10 go to the WAC tourney next month, and both have a lot to play for. Tanner said after Wednesday's win against Chicago State that our best offense is our defense, and we've got to stay locked into that. I think the guys believe that and understand that, but I think it comes from playing not to lose. We've got to turn that page and understand that we're on another run, so we're playing to win. Guys, back to you.
Connor, thank you very much. And yeah, ACU comes in a game out of 4th place. Grand Canyon out there at 6-3 right now. Jay-Sean Jackson from 3. The freshman comes in and buries a triple.
He's had a very successful season so far, Zach. I mean, to be able, like you say, he's a freshman, and be able to not only just come off the bench, but come off the bench and play key minutes for Coach Tanner's squad does a lot for his confidence.
Back-to-back 3s from some unlikely candidates. Daniels and Jackson both have just their 8th 3s of the season. Quentin Johnson, the second, trying to take it to the rim, and he is fouled. Back to the Jackson three.
Yeah, right there, just getting it, and that's the aggressive mindset that you have to have. As soon as you catch the ball, knowing that you can shoot and you got space, light it up. Coach Tanner gives players like him the green light to put some points on the board.
Currently an 8-0 run for ACU that gets snapped right here as Quentin Johnson, a second. Redshirt sophomore out of Oklahoma City, was all WAC honorable mention a year ago, and tell you what, he's had a couple of double-digit games this year, just 2, but they've each come in the last 2 games. He has really shined over the last week of this season here for the Vaqueros as he comes off the bench at that guard spot. A lot of talented scorers for UTRGV, a team that scores at about 74 points a game. ACU's the top scoring offense in the WAC at 78 per contest. And Corian Mason here is going to be fouled on a 3 by Xavier Johnson.
And if you're Coach Matt Figger, you don't want to see this right here. ACU has just done a great job, like you said, on that, although it was snapped, but the 3 turnovers early in this game really just ignited this fast-paced run for ACU, and that's what they needed to do, just to send the message early that they want to take control of this game and not come from behind like they did at the Fieldhouse a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, Brett Tanner has always said that no matter what the offense is doing, it always starts at the defensive end.
Yeah.
Even when those numbers and when they're scoring the ball, it comes from the defensive side. That's been on in the case all season long and really for the last couple of years for this Abilene Christian program. Corian Mason, a senior out of Oklahoma City, 3rd-year Wildcat, 3rd team Southland a year ago. The leading scorer for the Wildcats, and over 12.5 per game. Poked around, and Nelson's got the rebound. Oh, look at the high flying as they try to get it to Merrick Nelson. It's taken away.
Way to stop the break right there from Cameron Steele and slowing it down, getting their half-court offense. And just continuing the momentum with the Wildcat team.
Well, that backdoor to Cameron Steele, and now Mason again. Daniels rebounds. Boy, Damian Daniels has been all over the floor lately for Abilene Christian last few weeks.
And it seemed like he was looking for a foul right there off that jumper. It looked like he was telling the ref that he got hit on his left forearm, but call didn't go his way.
That's a 3 on line from Quentin Johnson.
And one of the things about this guard play for the Vaqueros is that they do a really good job at 2 things. They shoot the ball on the perimeter, defend the perimeter as well. So not only can they live by the 3, but they're not going to dive by the 3. They're going to shoot the 3 and defend it well, and those are going to be some of the keys to success for UTRGV here against ACU.
Turnover on Abilene Christian, and it sends subs in for both sides. You're not going to see a lot of subs for UTRGV.
Yeah.
They just don't do it. At the max, we'll probably see 9 Vaqueros today, as this rotation is based on the starters and then a couple of reserves. We've seen 7 players today for UTRGV. They've got 2 of the top guys in the WAC in terms of minutes played per game, Ricky Nelson and Justin Johnson. Offensive foul here is going on UTRGV. And I tell you what, just on one more note on that, UTRGV has dressed between 7 and 9 players for 20 of their 22 games. They do not have a lot of depth on the floor.
And they don't, Zach, and that's something that Coach Matt Figger needs to game plan around, and whether that's kind of resting your star players like Ricky and Justin Johnson, but that's also just making sure that you don't get in foul trouble like last game.
How about Simmons? He's off to a quality start. 9 points so far. He's got half the Wildcat points. Now Jackson off the steal, missing 1.
But Coach Tanner appreciates that hustle right here, just showing that they are playing with high energy.
Another turnover. It's a charge. And it's taken by Tobias Cameron of ACU.
Nothing but high energy right here. And ACU prides itself on just doing the little things to start and ignite that high energy right here.
Another giveaway for UTRGV. That's their 7th turnover in the game's first 7 minutes. And it's 3 turnovers in the last minute for the Vaqueros. ACU is the best at turning you over. Number 1 in America, 22 turnovers a game. Cameron was open, that's a goaltend.
ACU has just done a great job at just finding their teammates off of the backdoor cuts. even though that's one of the simplest offensive actions in the game of basketball, it works so well even here at the collegiate level. If you're UTRGV, you have to put more pressure on the blocks to defend those back lobs and back cuts.
Yeah, that inside's been great. 10 of the 20 are points in the paint for ACU so far. Justin Johnson trying to get him going. Boy, he's had to work hard, fights through traffic. He's gonna head to the line, and I tell you, they just gave him the ball and said, go figure it out, and it's a foul on Utgrv of ACU.
And it almost looked like he wanted to do a two-hand rim grazer right there, but of course the foul, and he had to double clutch, and now he's going to the free throw line.
At the line, number 1, Justin Johnson.
Johnson, a junior out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We mentioned him coming in 17 points a game. Remarkable talent. He's a 67% foul shooter this year. He's coming off of that 22-point effort against ACU, but he's been the leading scorer a whole bunch this year. 23 points against Tarleton as well. That was a big week, but it came in a couple of losses for the Vaqueros.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the leaders for this Vaqueros ball club, and he's one of the top scorers in the Western Athletic Conference. And ACU, for Coach Tanner, I'm pretty sure that he had his number circled because he is the leader. 17 points per game. He can light you up anywhere on the floor at an efficient rate.
Also number 1 in minutes played in the WAC this year. Utgrv traveled as ACU gives it away for just their second turnover on the afternoon. We've talked about it a bunch, but again, this is a rematch. If you're just joining us from a game in Edinburgh on January the 26th. UTRGV led by 12 with under 2 minutes to play, and ACU scored 18 of the final 22 to win the game. An absolute insane final couple of minutes. Doc Nelson in the paint, converting and scoring. ACU quickly off the make, and Daniels just fights through everybody to score.
And they're really playing at that fast pace, up tempo, especially when UTRGV scores. You inbound it real quick, and you got 3 players running the lanes. It's almost like a California fast break right there from UNC, Coach Roy Williams, but they're just doing a great job of just running that fast tempo and playing some good defense on the inside.
Johnson again, no, the putback from Nelson was acrobatic, didn't go in. ACU moving very quickly to start this game. That ball's tapped out of bounds, and it sends us. Tuesdays on ESPN Plus, get in-depth coverage of all things Abilene Christian men's basketball. It's the Brett Tanner Show, presented by ACUTV, every Tuesday at noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central on ESPN Plus and the ESPN app. Well, ACU shooting 53% from the floor so far, and they have forced 7 UTRGV's turnovers. That seems to be the story so far this afternoon.
It really does, Zach, and again, that's the way Coach Tanner talked about this week, is going back to Wildcat basketball, especially here at the Teague Center, doing the right things to their team identity.
How about Simmons? He's got 11 already for ACU. I mean, he is 5 of 6 shooting it from the floor. He's been remarkable. Wide pass as they get it to Laquan Butler on the baseline, and it's a foul. It's going on ACU's Corian Mason as they get Butler, the junior out of Michigan, into the ball game for the Vaqueros. But on this end, just 36% shooting so far. And again, those 7 turnovers as UTRGV tries to figure out this end of the floor. Nelson's gonna take it, and he's gonna head. I didn't know what the plan was on that possession, but Merrick Nelson parries one.
You know, Zach, it reminds me of that phrase that says, hand down, man down, and you make them pay with your jump shot.
Oh, the alley-oop and the finish for Simmons. They are getting number 23 going. He's got 13.
They are, and credit to the guards of ACU and just looking, have their eyes up, especially as they drive to the rim and making sure the number 23, whether to catch those lobs or easy pitch passes down low.
In the corner, it is Butler. That is just the second miss so far for UTRGV at the three-point line. At the 10-minute mark, Reggie Miller out of control, no good. Simmons, another Chance for more. 3-point play chance for Simmons.
And he has unleashed here early. UTRGV wants this game back again from Edinburgh a couple weeks ago, but Arion wants to continue his stellar performance here against the Vaqueros. And this is a nice little rivalry going on between the two. Arion just doing a great job at just, the guards getting him involved and just doing a great job at giving what the defense gives him.
Simmons, a junior out of Little Rock, Arkansas. 15 here in the first half. He's already got his 5th consecutive double-digit game. That foul went on Mike Adewumi. It's his 2nd personal. And it took Adewumi out of the game. Simmons with the 3-point play. He's already got 16 points. Butler trying to go through, and that is a foul underneath. And I think it's on the floor. So no free throws for Butler.
Fouls on number 23, Arion Simmons.
Oh, yes, it will be
yes,
free throws.
yes,
All right,
free
so
throws,
they
yeah.
are going to go with the shooting foul. They waved it off. But it will put Laquan Butler at the line, the junior out of Michigan. This is a team that just knows how to get to the line. No one does it better in the WAC than UTRGV in free throw attempts. In fact, these are the top 2 teams in the WAC in free throw attempts and makes this year.
Yeah, Zach, and that's a skill to learn in the game of basketball, especially now in this type of era in the collegiate basketballs. You have to know how to draw fouls, how to draw contact, knowing the right angles to get shooting fouls and put the team in foul trouble.
We were correct. It was on the floor. They did switch it back, and it's a 1-and-1 because it's bonus
Yeah.
for UTRGV. So they are in the 1-and-1 bonus right now, and they did get to the scorer's table and correct it from a 2-shot foul into a floor and 1-and-1. And Butler made both anyway, so it's a moot point at that. But you see the numbers there coming in. ACU 4th in the country, UTRGV 19th in makes this year at the foul line. Both top 2 in this conference. Abilene Christian with the 10-point lead. Ooh. Dangerous.
Yeah, seemed like the crowd, Reggie got the crowd roaring right there off of a potential ankle breaker.
Emmanuel Allen, mid-range game.
And especially against type of a hybrid zone, is you going to be able to utilize that face-up jumper, especially in the mid-range, which ACU has been successful on recently.
Butler on the move again. Goes into Allen, and that'll be the foul on ACU.
His 2nd.
And so Laquan Butler coming in and making an impact and just being aggressive and getting to the charity stripe.
And that's something that the Vaqueros need to do right now, especially here down early in this game.
The 2022 WAC basketball tournament presented by Hercules Tires takes place March 8th through the 12th at the Michelob Ultra Arena and the Orleans Arena in Las Vegas. For more information on tickets, visit Ticketsmarter.com. And for more information on the road to WAC Vegas, visit WACsports.com. Back to 10-point game once again, and this was kind of one of the way the game was developing the first time down in Edinburgh, too. ACU, people might have forgotten, had a double-digit lead at one point, and then UTRGV was the one to build up the second half lead. And the lead is back to 12 after Mason converts, matching the largest lead for the Wildcats today, and now a turnover.
And for UTRGV, again, Zach, it just sounds so simple, taking care of the basketball. But Coach Matt Figure knows that this team can do it. And if they just protect the basketball and protect the three-point line, they will be back in competitive stature here against the Wildcats.
Makai Morris is fouled on his way to the rim. And to your point on that, UTRGV turns it over 15 times a game, which is around the middle of the pack in the WAC, and then ACU obviously forces 22 a game. So it's easier said than done against this defense as Morris is at the line, the senior out of Philadelphia. Taylor returning to the UTRGV lineup, and Makai Morris into the scoring column today with the free throws. He shoots at 85% at the line this year.
You know, Zach, now just looking at the clock and how high scoring it is now, we still got about 8.5 minutes left, and just the type of matchup, this show that we've been able to see on both ends has been exciting. These both teams, this is a heavyweight fight.
Doc Nelson, that's a jump ball. He was trying to go through Reggie Miller. Miller got his hand on it, and it's going the other way.
And Reggie did a great job right there, just recognizing that Ricky was kind of doing not necessarily a Euro step, but right here just kind of off the screen, but kind of like an over the hop step right there, trying to go for a finish. But Reggie just did a great job of just taking that ball away.
Tobias Cameron no good in the paint. At this end, no field goals in 2.5 minutes for UTRGV, shooting just 38% in this first half. Butler has been the one that they've put the ball in his hands here the last few minutes. He's going to step back. And that three no good. Boy, their bodies everywhere. Then the putback, Taylor no good. Another opportunity. Look at this. Fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. A million chances for RGV right there. They're shooting free throws when we come back. ACU.
They presented me with so many opportunities to excel and try new things and really stretch myself every time I work the game.
ACUTV is definitely my favorite thing that I do on campus. I definitely would recommend this to people coming in. No matter what major you are, you're gonna learn and you're gonna make a lot of friends that you wouldn't know otherwise.
Especially as a freshman, it's a great experience from the start because at other schools you wouldn't probably get your hands on like this expensive equipment until you're an intern somewhere or a senior, but we get to start freshman year, first week. That's a big part of ACUTV and the journalism department here at ACU. Like, you get that experiential learning from the start, and it's great.
Being able to have the opportunity to work with a big company like ESPN is probably one of the best things I could ask for at ACU.
You're not going to get that many chances outside of ACU, not to mention as such a small university to offer something as big as ESPN for students, something that very few students get the chance to partake in, and that's something that ACUTV offers.
I can be on live television, I can write, I can do all of this stuff. And so it was really an eye-opener for me that, you know, I don't just write news stories and I don't just work graphics for ESPN, that I can do everything. And that's something I think has been really valuable about working at ACUTV, is it gives students the opportunity to do everything.
It's a lot of people who know how to do their jobs really well, and they all get together and they create something amazing.
Sometimes might feel like they're just like throwing you, but at the same time, there are people around you who are on that same journey with you. And students should be excited to come to ACU and work for a place like ACUTV.
Abilene.
The world needs more light.
35 to 21, and look who's number 3 in the country in steals this year. ACU 3 away from the top number. Look at that, EKU, LSU, and ACU. The Wildcats have just been unbelievable at forcing turnovers this season.
Yeah, and it just kind of reminds me, flashback to when they beat UT Austin, is that's how they did it. This is the formula for success for Coach Tanner's ball club, is forcing turnovers, being tough on defense, pressing, trapping, in the zone, in the half court, or what have you. It's this defensive-minded team that is going to, you know, for Coach Tanner's team, hopefully get some wins in the WAC conference.
Raekwon Taylor at the line for UTRGV. And to your point, this is not a team that is just now all of a sudden leading the country in turnovers. That has been a habit over the course of the last 3 seasons for ACU. They finished top 1, 2, or 3 in turnovers forced in the country. Taylor with both. He hits him, the freshman out of Alabama, to make it a 12-point game. ACU on offense. It's Mason. Had a look at it. Pinballed to Adewumi. Justin Johnson finds Adewume for 2.
And it's just that fast movement against the 2-3 zone of the Wildcats. It's just swing pass, move, quick passes, make quick decisions, and that's how you'll be a great zone, architectured by Coach Tanner.
Second assist for Johnson. Thought Daniels was going to take the 3. Here's Jackson. Back out, Daniels. Adewume with the rebound. That's his 3rd. 10 of the 25 points for UTRGV so far have come at the free throw line. Just 6 field goals made. Johnson, blocked foul. Free throws coming again.
And they're going to keep attacking. They're going to keep getting to the charity stripe because, to your point, Zach, that's what's been the key to getting back into this lead, getting back into this ball game and building their offensive momentum. And for ACU, they have to recognize, hey, it's just a law of verticality. Just stay with your hands up, and if the ref calls it, well, then you can challenge from there. But you got to do your part defensively and let UTRGV kind of get away from this type of game plan, and so far it's been working for them.
Justin Johnson. He has played in all 40 minutes 6 times this year, which is the 8th highest total in the country. You just don't see that happen very often.
You don't. Those are like playoff rotations right there for Justin Johnson.
Him and Ricky Nelson have both done that 6 times apiece. Ten-point game, Arion Simmons back in and still scoring.
So we've seen layups, we've seen fast break points, and now we're seeing mid-range jumpers that Arion has been doing. He is a monster. UTRGV, maybe draw some double teams to him on the defensive end. Let's see what they do.
18 in the first half. Insane. That's out of bounds, and that's heading the other way. It went off of Nelson, and Damian Daniels with the defense for ACU.
And it seems like we're just, it's a song and dance to where we talk about ACU high energy and building momentum, and they recognize that UTRGV was on a little bit of a run, and that's the turnovers. Now they get back into this game with a bigger lead.
Wildcats back to work. Simmons, I mean, why not? Heat check. Ball's poked free. RGV's got it. It's Johnson. Oh, he lost it, and he's denied. Simmons sent it away, and then Adewume missed.
That was just an easy layup right there.
Contact, and a lot of it right there. Corian Mason down for ACU, and the foul went on Merrick Nelson.
Right here, his teammates helping him get up. Seems like he's just shaking it off a little bit. That was a hard hit right there off of the fast break, just going downhill, recognizing that ACU had numbers, and Corian did a good job of just pushing the ball. Just unfortunate contact right there. It looks like he's okay, so it's good to see him back up on his feet. Right here off the block and igniting the break. Right here off Deshaun's rebound. And now just pushing and recognizing they have numbers, and just, it was just unfortunate timing right there from Corian against Marique Nelson right there. But it's good to see that Corian is okay. Going to the bench to heal up.
About as tough as they come. He's been playing with a shoulder injury all season long that'll require surgery in the offseason when his career comes to a close. Cameron on the baseline. One hands one. It's Jackson. Daniels with the O board. Second chance. Jackson. Couple of looks that trip, and here's the foul. It is on UTRGV. And it's on Nelson again. And Merrick Nelson's got 2 fouls. And then this was the trouble for UTRGV last time. 4 guys fouled out.
That's exactly, Zach, that's exactly where I was going to go. Is one of the point of emphasis that Coach Matt had to preach to his ball club is that, hey, we can't get in foul trouble because of the limited rotation that they have. And ACU recognizes that, and ACU might want to attack the line even more, recognizing that they have multiple players in potential foul trouble. Let's see what happens. Let's see if UTRGV can stay disciplined to keep this lead going.
$12-point difference. It's been about a double-digit difference most of the way here in the first half. Ricky Nelson no good. Simmons, and now Cameron's behind everybody. He is blocked!
Wow.
Adewumi with a highlight play defensively. How did he do that in transition?
I mean, way to run back there. Right here, it looks like Tobias is by himself. Just way to hustle right there. Time, it's all about timing and precision right there. I mean, for UTRGV, that's the crowd silencer that they needed right now to start this momentum swing right here. Now the crowd is silent, and let's see what happens here. UTRGV at the line.
That was spectacular. And it's going to put Taylor to the line for the Vaqueros.
And it was like a blur because you see Tobias, by yourself as the player say, you're by yourself, and then you just have him sprinting and the timing, be able to get the angle of the ball. Way to ruin a highlight play right there from UTRGV.
And create one on your own.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was unreal. Taylor at the line. Missed both.
ACU wants to make up for that one.
Simmons, why not? He's got 20 in the half.
And know that didn't really count as a sky hook, but it almost looked like it. Arion just recognizing that he had that size advantage on the hash mark and just going to work in the paint. And ACU has really excelled in the paint so far here against UTRGV with 16 points in the paint.
Simmons has over half of the Wildcat points, 20 of the 39. That ball batted in the air by Miller. This defense is all over the place. Heat check. Adewumi somehow comes up with that.
And UTRGV's got numbers right here on the break.
Oh, and then off the hands of Johnson. Arion Simmons is absolutely the story for the Wildcats. ACU leads by 14, and he's got 20 already. Inside Celebration Hall and the Teak Special Event Center, this temporary home for ACU, 2 years running as the home basketball arena until the new Moody Coliseum will be ready to go. How about the storyline today? It's that guy, Arion Simmons for ACU. He's got 20 points.
I think UTRGV has had enough of him already. And right here in the first half, Arion just extending his stellar performance that he had in Edinburgh and now here in Abilene. The guards are just doing a great job by feeding him right here, especially in the low post.
Into the paint. Tap free, and ACU keeps it. And Emmanuel Allen is open. And the three's no good. And it's good to see Corian Mason back out there for Abilene Christian after taking a hit a few possessions ago.
It is, and it just shows his toughness as well, as he's always to put his life on the line right here for his brothers right here on the floor. And he's just a great player. I mean, this is what they need right here for ACU. You need all your starters against a challenging UTRGV team.
Two guys went down for the Vaqueros right there. And
a lot of physicality, a lot of bodies falling.
His three-pointer was no good. Into the paint. Simmons, he has already matched a career high. He's got 22.
And doing it all here in the first half, Zach. He's having a day right here against a Vaqueros defense that wants to kind of switch to the zone to kind of defend him more on the block, but he can also extend the jumpers in the mid-range.
Taken away. Mason in transition. It is getting out of control. It's an 18-point lead for Abilene Christian, an 8-0 run, and a near 5-minute scoring drought for UTRGV.
Up-tempo offense, Zach, and that's what they've been showing here, and they do that off of turnovers. They do that right off the press on the defense to tire this Vaqueros team out, and this is why they have such a big lead here with 2 minutes left.
43-25. Abilene Christian on an absolute tear. And it starts at this end. And then it heads the other direction for ACU. They get stops, and then they know how to convert.
And Arion just having a day so far, 22 and 7 rebounds on the 10 of 14 shooting. And let's not also forget his rebounds, and that's a key indicator, key factor of how they ignite these fast breaks off of those rebounds and box outs that Arion provides down low.
So the 22 matches the career high that he had earlier this year against Sam Houston on January the 8th. And the 10 field goals made, that is a new career high. He's 10 for 14 shooting. He's also got 7 rebounds, a near double-double in the half. Oh, how about that? It's Raekwon Taylor, rim rattler put back.
6'9", using your size right there. Seeing a little spot just to get the putback. That's something we don't see a lot here in the Teague Center.
Mason from an extra step away. That looked like it had some frustration behind it.
Yeah,
from
it
Taylor.
did. That's the aggression that they're
Watch
showing.
This is insane.
Right here off the cut, following the shot, and bang right there, following the putback. Using his size to work.
Freshman out of Alabama. What a talent at 6'9". Simmons, he's missed a few threes. That's pretty been about it. He's 1 for 4 from distance. Daniels put back. No, Simmons is there. Why wouldn't he be?
Yeah, and that's another putback of his own. Not a dunk, but he does it his own way. And just right there, the ACU has just done a great job all night of getting to second chance points, 7 second chance points, and a lot of 10 offensive rebounds for the Wildcats.
Blocking foul here on Nason. It's one thing to reset your career high in a game.
Yeah.
He's doing it in the first half.
Yeah.
What? It's insane.
He's been a monster so far. Again, not just scoring in transition and in the paint at the half-court setting, but just getting rebounds. 9 rebounds. He's 1 rebound shy of a double-double. 24, 9 rebounds, 11-15 from the field. He might get a double-double here in the first half.
Justin Johnson trying to get going. Coming up, the ESPN halftime report. I imagine Arion Simmons will be a talking point. Kerry Johnston, Cohen Carpenter at the studio, and ACUTV feature on Wildcat guard Emmanuel Allen. And we break down the first half with highlights and analysis. All coming up on the ESPN halftime report. A 16-point lead. As we approach a minute to go until the break. Zone D for the Vaqueros. They get it to Simmons anyway. No good that time. Taylor rebounds.
And now with this Vaquero zone, now ACU is forced to kind of slow the game down and make the smart decision to find the highest percentage shot. But again, it's all about defense for ACU and for UTRGV, seeing if they can continue to get to the charity stripe, see if they can get some three-point shots off. Shooting 43% from three-point land.
Johnson, he had it stripped. That defense again. Oh, and then that pass was to nobody. Nelson, no. Taylor, yes. And now no shot clock, and ACU can hold for the final possession. Up by 14.
And in this first half, Zach, it's all been about, well, it's been about Arion Simmons, but it's been about the fast tempo that ACU has really dictated into this game, and it puts UTRGV's pressure on their heels to really try to see what they can really do because of their limited rotation and potential foul trouble.
Jay-Sean Jackson there, and that will take us into halftime. ACU 14-0 when they lead at the half this year. ACU 47 and UTRGV 31. It is time for the ESPN halftime report. Kerry and Cohen, take it away.
31 here at the Teague Center, and what's proved to be a really, really great game so far. My name's Kerry Johnson. This is Cohen Carpenter. We're right here in the ACU TV or studio here to break it all down. And Cohen, what a start to this game, especially for Arion Simmons.
Well, you can call this the halftime show, or you can call it a much-needed 15-minute break from the Arion Simmons show. He currently career-high 24 points with 9 rebounds to boot. He's coming close to an ACU record, and it's going to be a good one coming forward.
Yeah, we'll break the game all down before when we head back. here at halftime. ACU has the upper hand right now, but that could all change in the second half. All right, welcome back inside the ACU TV or studio. My name is Carrie Johnson alongside Cohen Carpenter, and man, what a first half we had there.
Yeah, what a crazy first half. Very similar to the last game that these two teams played. ACU was up in that one by double digits, but again, things could change. Another reason to stay tuned in the second half.
Yeah. Before we get too far into let's take a look at the WAC. Let's take a look at the WAC right now. We have some really good games going on right now. Dixie State SFA's up right now. We have a really good game. Utah Valley up ahead up against Sam Houston, a couple of top seeds there. And we have a couple more games. Which games do you think watchers should look at too?
Definitely that's Seattle U versus New Mexico State. Currently they're sitting 1-2 in the WAC standings. And as you know, as we go into March, as we go into the WAC Vegas playoffs, the top 6 teams are going to get that first round bye. So that's what makes this game so crucial, is Abilene Christian right there, right on the cusp, fighting for that 6th seed spot so they can get that much needed bye. And then you look over at UTRGV, they're just looking for anything they can get. It's currently 12 out of 13 coming into this game in the WAC, so they're fighting and clawing even to get in the playoffs. Again, top 10 teams in these standings make the playoffs.
Yeah, each one of these games for honestly every single team in the WAC is going to be crucial because, again, you really want to get that good seeding into that tournament. You want to get maybe that double bye, that single bye, just any sort of bye that you can get. And so being able to win out games, especially for both of these teams, ACU struggling to get a higher standing, and then UTRGV just trying to make the tournament, all these games are going to be extremely crucial down the stretch.
Definitely getting into crunch time as WAC Vegas looms around the corner here in March. And yeah, like you said, all of these games are going to be very crucial, even if you're at the bottom of the bracket like UTRGV.
Yeah. Now we're going to go ahead and send it to ACU TV's Emily Schaefer as she got to sit down with ACU forward Emmanuel Ellen just to talk about basketball and the season so far.
I mean, I tried other things, I just didn't love it as much as basketball, and I figured if I'm not going to love it as much as I love this, then why focus on it.
Take us through that buzzer beater play in November against UTA.
At first, I almost ran to the basket, not knowing that we needed a 3. And I realized I took like a couple steps forward, running to the basket. I was like, oh, we need a 3. So I stepped back to the 3-point line, raised my hand. Reggie was able to get me the ball. I just shot it and it was able to go in. I thought it was cool because of my story, just being a redshirt and then not being able to play all of last year and being able to come in and like really help the team, be able to win Coach Tanner's first game because he was the person that recruited me and brought me to ACU. I thought it was really cool, like when I got to the locker room and just like sat there and could really like decompress, like I've come a long way and like he's really stuck with me this whole time and like he never gave up on me or anything like that, and I was able to help him get his first win as a head coach.
What kind of skills on the court are going to help you in your future career path?
Definitely being able to handle adversity. Obviously, on the basketball court, not everything's ever going to go your way, and obviously in the workplace, that's going to be the exact same thing. Nobody has the same walking path of life that you may have, and so just being able to step out of your shoes and be able to be in somebody else's shoes and understand what they're going through and have empathy towards them, I think is something that I could really take from the basketball team to the special ed classroom, hopefully. I feel like if we continue to just play, Coach Tanner says it all the time, play ACU basketball, play with each other and for each other, I don't see why not we can't be a team that can really compete and try to win a WAC conference title, because that's our plan, is to compete and be there at the end in Las Vegas.
It is ACU in front by 16 over UTRGV here at the Teague Center in Abilene, Texas. As we say, welcome courtside, everybody. Zach Carlisle and Joseph Chapa. Well, how about this? 47 first half points. ACU's offense looked phenomenal in that first half.
It did, and it was 5 to 13 turnovers, and that kind of plays in your fast-paced tempo type of offense. And at least in my favorite stat, 14 assists, be able to move the ball. That's how you get guys like Arion Simmons involved in this game.
Yeah, so look at the numbers here. 43 attempts. First of all, just the number was crazy because of those 14 turnovers. UTRGV doing it at the foul line, but they're going to have to find some offense here in the second half.
They are, and they're going to have to do it outside of the free throw line, like you said, Zach, because ACU is going to make some adjustments, see if they can kind of increase those three-point attempts, make some three-pointers, hit those key shots, and continue and get back in this game.
Story of the first half, without a question, it's Arion Simmons.
I mean, without a question, 1 rebound shy of his 3rd career double-double, and 3rd double-double this season is right here. Just Arion Simmons just putting on a 2-way star-stellar performance that he's continued from Edinburgh of a couple of weeks ago, just doing a great job at both ends in transition, in the half court, and his guards and his teammates like Tobias Cameron are doing a great job of getting him involved in this game and making him shine.
Simmons, 24 and 9 in 13 minutes in the first half. He has been incredible. Let's play the final 20 minutes of this thing. ACU and UTRGV went down to the wire at the end of January, 11 days ago. What do we have in store in these final 20 minutes? Justin Johnson on the attack right away, and he is going to shoot free throws 10 seconds into the second half.
Well, if you can run a 10 seconds or less offense and get to the free throw line, I think UTRGV might have a chance to continue to get back into this game. But hey, if it works, it works. But they're gonna have to make some more adjustments to get some points outside of the free throw line.
Well, Johnson's had a couple of games with over 20, 7 in that first half, and just 1 for 7 from the floor. It's a guy who just has been incredible at scoring the ball this year. He's been in double figures all but 3 times. No good on the free throw. This is his already 8th and 9th attempts at the line today. They're going to have to make him to stay alive this afternoon. We'll see if they take care of the ball a little bit better here in the second half as well. We mentioned those 14 turnovers. Stoppage. Free throw was good. And ACU will have it for the first time in the second half.
UTRGV starting out this half in a half-court, full-court press, and they're just going to have to, both teams are just going to have to continue to take care of the ball. ACU have the edge in that, but UTRGV is really, again, it's easier said than done against the #1 team in the country at forcing turnovers.
That's a travel on Mason, so he gives it away here. Back to Simmons and just what he's done here in the first half of this game.
I mean, and it's all about, when you're a post player in collegiate basketball, it's all about position. And Arion Simmons just does that, running his lanes, getting to the right position, whether it's one person guarding them from behind, just doing a great job. And even he can extend to the mid-range and hit some jump shots. I believe he's 0 for 3 from 3, but if he can get those threes to fall, that will be a threat for this team.
Charge on Mike Adewumi. It's his second foul of the game. Trying to drive baseline. That goes down as a turnover on the Vaqueros.
Again, they just have to take care of the basketball here against an ACU team, because that's how the teams that have beaten ACU, they've been done a well job at that, is taking care of the basketball, and that's what the Vaqueros are going to need to do to get back in this ball game.
15 to shoot for Makai Morris. Got a couple of points. Simmons, he has been the guy for the Wildcats.
Speaking of positioning, it's a team effort as to Arion Simmons' performance right here. He does his job at filling in the lane, rolling off the pick and rolls, but Makai Morris right there just does a great job at finding him off the slip screen.
Adewumi outside again. Johnson spins. Jump ball again. That's the second time that's happened with Johnson and Miller defending him. Goes back to ACU. And Reggie Miller, just one of the top defenders you're going to see on that end as Damian Daniels checks in for the Wildcats.
And Reggie, he puts his hard hat every single game, every single minute of the game, and he prides himself on that defensive end to guard their best player and do a great job for his team on the defensive end.
Daniels hit a 3 in that first half. Simmons Simmons is 12 out of 18 from the floor. Nelson kicks, a dribble. Johnson, no good. Xavier Johnson had an early three, and that's been it for UTRGV. Daniels, the stutter, and the reverse was no good.
And he had Arion open at the top of the key for the three right there, and that would have been a momentum silencer here against the Vaqueros.
Simmons poked that ball away. Johnson, good passing. They go right back to number one. That defense is suffocating. Nelson, no good.
Just playing disciplined defense right there, and that's what you got to do against a team, again, top 2 in the conference at getting to the foul line.
Simmons' pass is deflected. So Simmons will leave the game with 26 points. It's Cameron Steele and Jayshon Jackson. Check in for ACU. Mason's all by himself.
Now extending the leads to 20, and the Vaqueros right here. A lot of time left, but they've got to do the little things correctly. So it seemed like the foul on the floor right there, but they got to continue. And tempo's kind of been a big thing here in this game too. Is ACU really playing the fast pace, forcing UTRGV to play on their heels, and just wide open shot right there from a great three-point shooter in Corian Mason.
And it's just the fourth three. It has not been a three-point clinic by any means for ACU. 4 for 15. But they got that one to go. Taylor's in the paint on a nice find from Nelson. Get it back to 18, but a long way to go for UTRGV. Mason short that time. How about another look at it? He's been all by himself here on these possessions.
And
0 for 2 that trip.
He wanted contact right there off that drive.
Nelson, no. Ricky Nelson couldn't get it in transition. Jackson, there was contact, no foul.
Resetting the play, recognizing that that left wing and corner has been open. The Vaqueros have been leaving that open these past couple of possessions.
Daniels, no good on that one. No numbers for Ricky Nelson. UTRGV's 29% shooting this afternoon as Justin Johnson tries to change that at a timeout called by Brett Tanner and Abilene Christian. It has been a 5-1 start to the second half for ACU. They lead it by 16.
Part of who I am, but after years of being in ministry, I just didn't feel equipped to help some families in crisis. So I enrolled in ACU's online master's program, and I finally got the training I needed. Today, I'm a marriage and family therapist with my own nonprofit counseling center. It's a privilege to listen and walk beside families as they move towards a better outcome. I feel like I finally arrived at my true calling in life, and ACU helped me get there.
Pursue your undergraduate or graduate degree online at Abilene Christian University.
In my small town, we focus on faith, family, and football. My journey of faith has defined who I am and whose I am. Knowing that, what could possibly stand in my way? I authored a book titled Life After Grace to encourage others to live out their purpose with their faith. I'm just a small town girl with bigger than the sky dreams. That's why I'm getting my degree online with ACU.
Pursue your undergraduate or graduate degree online at Abilene Christian University.
I served our country in the military for 4 years. I was a pastor of a small church where I wore a lot of hats. I was the cleanup guy, the painter, the lawn guy, the preacher. You name it, I was doing it. We got a lot of calls of people needing counseling, and I was not equipped to help them. So now I'm pursuing my bachelor's and master's degree online with ACU. Someday, I'll serve my community as a counselor.
Pursue your undergraduate or graduate degree online at Abilene Christian University.
I am a wife and a mother of 4. I work a full-time job and do catering on the side to help our family make all the ends meet. For years, I've dreamt about finishing my bachelor's degree, and I finally found ACU Online. The core values of the school really lined up with my faith, and I'm telling you, it is the only way I could move forward with my busy schedule. It's possible. You can work and get your education. ACU made it possible for me.
Pursue your undergraduate or graduate degree online at Abilene Christian University.
ACU in front by 16 points. 45% shooting, and I tell you, the Wildcats really have picked up where they left off in the first half here to get things started.
They really have, and if you're ACU, you look at this, okay, say, okay, it's game 2 against a team that down 12 with a minute 59 left. You had a 1% chance of coming back, and you say, okay, we got to take care of business and take care of business early, and they've done nothing short of that.
Building up as much as a 20-point lead. It's at 16 right now. UTRGV's come back before against ACU. They had an early first half deficit 11 days ago, and then they built up the second half lead. What do the Vaqueros have in store here today? This ball's free. It's tapped away. 5 to shoot it for Justin Johnson. Long three, buried with confidence.
And he's got a smooth jumper. See, right there is a little bit slow right there. Usually you want a quick jumper right there, but his size and length and his poise and control just to get that jumper off with a hand in his face is why when he's one of the top scorers here in the WAC.
Steele, free release to the rim.
Cameron Steele right there. ACU is just doing a great job at using the pick and roll to their advantage. That's one of the things that ACU has really been lacking throughout the season is, hey, they run type of a pick and roll offense. They don't hit the roll man. They've hit the roll man multiple times is why you have Arion Simmons with the career high numbers in the points column and why they hit Cameron Steele right there for the slam.
ACU up by 15. Another timeout in Abilene. Steele with a flush. Back in Abilene, Texas, with ACU in front by 15 over UTRGV. Let's talk about shoes with basketball. We don't do that enough, do we? Let's send it over to Connor Mullins.
The Wildcats coaching staff auctioned off their customized ACU Coaches vs. Cancer sneakers on Twitter to raise money for cancer charities. The staff wore the shoes as a part of the Suits and Sneakers Week run by Coaches and Cancer last weekend. The auction ended on Tuesday night, and the staff raised over $8,000. Tanner said, "I'm so proud of this community and the ACU family for stepping up on that. To raise that much money on 5 pairs of shoes in one day is amazing. We're always going to try to do whatever we can. That's what we're called to do, is to bless people, and I'm glad we got to be a part of that." Guys, back to you.
Connor, thank you very much. Yeah, Coach Tanner saying that those direct messages, that spot was booming on Twitter. He couldn't keep up with it, but all that money raised, really a credit to him and his coaching staff and raising money for cancer research. Great initiative for Abilene Christian and the nationwide Coaches versus Cancer.
It is, and they look fire with those kicks. I mean, I tried to get my hands on a pair of those, but the bids were, for college shooting, those bids were just not there. But again, it's bigger than basketball. They're just a great initiative right there to cancer research, something we need. And they did a great job at that.
Jay-Sean Jackson, no good. Rebounded Johnson. Here comes our UTRGV down by just 13 now. That sounds crazy, but this thing was 20 for a second. The Vaqueros trying to climb back in it, but then the turnover. A common theme is that ball poked free. That is the 17th UTRGV turnover today.
And yet another turnover on the fast break. And Zach, that's a credit to an ACU defense that forces turnovers, that gets up in your grill and tries to get the ball away from you, but it also affects you not from a physical standpoint on the basketball court, but also mentally because you rush things, you forget the game plan, you get out of your poise and control. And ACU has done a great job of that, putting that into the Vaqueros' minds.
Allen buries a three. That was half-court execution at its finest as ACU hits its 5th triple.
When you play inside-outside, inside being leading by number 23, Arion Simmons, it forces the defense to say, okay, we can't allow high percentage shots. And then you go outside with players like Emmanuel Allen to light you up from deep.
Nelson answers with a 3, and that's UTRGV's 5th 3 today. They try to get Merrick Nelson going, to grad transfer from Western Kentucky. Simmons, mid-range, no good that time. Trying to pad his 26-point effort today. Johnson, that's an offensive foul all the way. Miller takes it.
And again, going back to what Coach Tanner said on Monday on his show, it's about playing Wildcat basketball, and that's doing the little things right, especially with the charge wall here in transition. Reggie just doing a great job at just knowing he's outside the circle, in position, planted feet, and that's a possession, another added possession for ACU.
7 minutes into the second half, UTRGV outscoring ACU 13-10, but the lead still a baker's dozen. Morris doesn't have a field goal today, just the 2 points from the foul line. 5 to shoot. Simmons. Oh yeah!
You've got an all-around triple threat in Arion Simmons. They call him the big guard around ACU because he's got that type of skill set. Again, it's that inside-outside play that he's been leading the Wildcats here with 29 points, with a double-double, 29-10, on an efficient 13-20 shooting from the field.
A foul inside. Merrick Nelson heading back to the line. Free throws coming here. The foul goes on Allen for ACU. Nelson, native of Plano, Texas, third year with the Vaqueros, second year playing after redshirting a couple of seasons ago. Started at Western Kentucky from 2017 to 2019, a couple of years there. And Nelson's got 9 points, trying to add to that and trying to get a double-digit day. 4 rebounds.
There's still a lot of time here for the Vaqueros. Zach is right here with 12 minutes and 24 seconds left, only down by 15 pending on this free throw. They can still make some noise right here, and it's going to start from the three-point line. If they can hit back-to-back threes, consecutive threes, getting on a little bit of a roll, force ACU to kind of adjust their defense towards the perimeter.
Nelson, no good. And Simmons has his double-double. 11 rebounds now to go with his 29 points. It's Makai Morris, way off that time. Quentin Johnson, he's been quiet for the Vaqueros today. 3, no good. Boy, transition really has not been there for UTRGV. That's a nice putback from Adewumi.
It really hasn't. They should look to really attack it because they can get size advantage with Adewumi against a small guard like Reggie Miller, and those were easy layups right there.
Morris
Speaking of easy layups,
has his first field goal today. And the lead immediately back to 15.
UTRGV back in their half-court set, just slowing it down.
And a foul here. And Quentin Johnson is going to shoot free throws when we come back. The story for sure is ACU's Arion Simmons.
Light bringers and courageous leaders who inspire us. Game changers and risk takers who never play small. Creative thinkers and God seekers who uplift us. You see, the future is ours to create. We hold it in our hearts. We mold it with our hands. We light the fire within.
I served our country in the military for 4 years. I was a pastor of a small church where I wore a lot of hats. I was the cleanup guy, the painter, the lawn guy, the preacher. You name it, I was doing it. We got a lot of calls of people needing counseling, and I was not equipped to help them. So now I'm pursuing my bachelor's and master's degree online with ACU. Someday, I'll serve my community as a counselor.
Pursue your undergraduate or graduate degree online at Abilene Christian University.
In my small town, we focus on faith, family, and football. My journey of faith has defined who I am and whose I am. Knowing that, what could possibly stand in my way? I authored a book titled Life After Grace to encourage others to live out their purpose with their faith. I'm just a small town girl with bigger than the sky dreams. That's why I'm getting my degree online with ACU.
Pursue your undergraduate or graduate degree online at Abilene Christian University.
A peek inside the ACUTV studio. There's the gang Hud Harris, Will King directing traffic, the ACUTV student run crew, as always, doing a fantastic job as we put these games all season long. Whack Hoops on ESPN. Zach Carlisle, Joseph Champa, Connor Mullins. Glad to have you with us. ACU up by 15 here at 11.5 to go. UTRGV trying to get back in this thing. They've really trailed by 10 to 15 points this entire way.
Well, they're doing a satisfactory job of just hanging in the balance, like you said, Zach. But it's going to take a turning point, turning the tide here to make this game a little bit closer, kind of a turning of a tide, like we saw the game in Edinburgh a couple weeks ago. And it's going to start with the perimeter shots and three-point land for UTRGV. Both teams know that they can hit them. It's just a matter of can they get good looks, and when they get those good looks, can they knock them down at a high clip? Let's see what they can do here against ACU.
Reggie Miller looking on, senior out of Houston for ACU. These Wildcats in the midst of a 4-game winning streak, and that counters. I mean, this has been the ultimate streak season for ACU. They lost 2, then they won 11. Lost 5, now they've won 4. That's their season. And at the line for UTRGV, Quentin Johnson, the second. Trying to play their best ball as they step into what will be the final 6 games of the year as we get closer and closer to WAC Vegas in early March.
And now that you're heading to kind of the late streak for ACU, you're kind of finding your rhythm back again. Again, it's all about playing to your identity of Wildcat basketball. And I think that's a great point. It's been a season of streaks, and right here, before March comes, they're doing a great job of just getting back into their rhythm and be playing some tough opponents later on.
Zone defense for UTRGV. Mason. Miller with a rebound. A starting 5 are on the floor for the Wildcats, and Morris mid-range game.
Well, what a key factor that's been for not only his game, but for the Wildcats being able to, the opponents know he's a threat from three-point land, but they also know with one pump fake, one dribble, he can hit you with the mid-range pull-up jumper.
Transition look here. Miller is in the scoring column, and ACU's lead is up to 17. Merrick Nelson, no off the made basket. Simmons clears it. He's the trailer, he's got it, he's going to the line. Arion Simmons, a double-double today, and he's gonna go to the line for the 3rd and 4th time. That was the Miller layup in transition. At the line for the Wildcats, Simmons to the stripe.
And going to the line to get a chance to get at least 30 points right here. A 30 bomb for Arion Simmons on a double-double with 12 rebounds. What a day he's been having, Zach, against a team that, again, in Edinburgh, he really showed what he could do in the clutch, in the crunch time when his team was down 12 with a minute 59 left.
Arion Simmons has 30 points. He is the first Wildcat since 2015 to have 30 or more in a game. He's got 31. The most since Harrison Hawkins when he scored 33 against Lamar in 2015. A well-deserved break for number 23. Vaqueros looking for something offensively. Johnson, he's been the guy for the Vaqueros. He's got 15 to lead UTRGV.
Even with the call that he thought was an and one potentially, just does a great job at using his body, using his length with those driving angles to get a bucket.
A steal by Johnson, then a steal by Morris. Nine and a half to go. Poke free, stolen by Doc Nelson, and then the foul on Morris. And that'll be bonus. 1-on-1 chance here coming up for UTRGV. I mean, getting to the line hasn't been the problem for the Vaqueros today. They're 18 out of 25. They're continuing to do that, but the rest of the offense just has not been there.
You know, and especially in basketball, is you have to recognize that you're going to give up something. So I think with the Wildcats, as they recognize and say, okay, we're just going to give up, you know, not necessarily fouls, but if they want to win this game at the free throw line, they're going to win this game at the free throw line, but we're not going to give up threes. We're not going to give up pull-up jumpers. We're not going to give up good driving angles. And so far, it's been a successful formula for the Wildcats as they're up 68-51.
Guy from Cameron, somehow he got it, and then somehow it fell down. Ooh, Merrick Nelson up a little gimpy for UTRGV. But Guy into the scoring column, the junior out of Australia.
He just does a great job at utilizing his size, something that ACU, this is kind of one of their first early years with a guy like him who provides that size verticality in the vertical lane, down low in the post, and then with a soft touch with the baby hook, does a great job at just getting points on the board for his team.
Ricky Nelson running point. UTRGV down 19. Offensive foul again. On Nelson, Cameron took it.
Another turnover here for the Vaqueros. That's 20 turnovers compared to ACU's 6 turnovers. Nice discipline charge right there taken from Tobias Cameron. And again, those are the little things. Excuse me, now 21 turnovers for the Vaqueros. That's been the leading stat, the key indicator of why ACU is up so big.
And then ACU gives it away for the 7th time. Johnson spinning, blocked away by the 6'11" guy. Mason up through, charge, coming the other way. Both teams have been giving it up here these last few minutes.
Getting some blocks too. What a block right there by Guy. UTRGV also going back, kind of mirroring what ACU does, is getting charges and building and adding more possessions for this team here. Still some time for the Vaqueros to get back into this ball game, but they're going to have to do so. Again, getting some quality looks from behind the arc.
Approaching the 8-minute mark. Nelson lost the ball. Who's it off of? It'll stay at this end. Nelson hasn't left the floor. Redshirt junior out of Houston. Number 5 in orange. Johnson again.
Looking for a travel right there from Johnson.
And then Nelson missing the 3. They might have gotten away with one.
Yeah, they might have gotten away. I've noticed that the crowd and both teams are kind of, you know, doing the little travel signal right there. But again, that just shows the competitive stature for both teams. Both teams want this win. And see if ACU can close it out.
Guy, turn around, baby hook.
Well, when you have a player like him at his size playing for Abilene Christian, and then you add his skill set with the baby hooks, the jump hooks, even with 5-6 feet away from the basket, if you're Coach Chandler, you say you never had a player like him, and it's a great thing for his team.
What a take from Justin Johnson. I mean, that was winding through a lot of bodies.
It's a little shaken up.
Yeah, they're going to check on him when we come back. ACU leads it by 19. Well, Justin Johnson might have just tweaked an ankle there a little bit, looked like, but he was able to come off the floor as ACU leads it by 19 points, and Johnson's back out there for UTRGV. It seems like they're going to have a lot go their way here. Down by 19, trying to make a run at this thing. They got to get some stops first, and then they'll solve the riddle offensively.
Yeah, well, yeah, first of all, Zach, it's good to see Justin Johnson back up, because that is going to be one of the big reasons why, if they want to come back in this game, and if they do, it's going to be because of number 1 in orange, Justin Johnson. But like you said, it's all about threes and stops, and they can do that for the remaining 7 minutes here against ACU. Might have a tight stretch, part 2 of the chronicles of what we saw in Edinburgh.
A 19-point difference. Arion Simmons. No good. Raekwon Taylor with the rebound. It's just been so much fun to watch those 31 points for Simmons today. Again, the first Wildcat since 2015 to have over 30 in a game. And then he gets a steal. Why wouldn't he get a steal?
Oh.
It's his game, and then he walked with it.
It's okay. He's had a great game. He's excited. We'll give him a little pass right there. But doing a great job on both ends of the floor.
After his first steal, well, that would have been his second steal of the game, and then he turned it over for the first time. The first turnover for Simmons. Loose ball and a foul here. Justin Johnson on the attack. Big time performance for Arion Simmons. Let's send it over to Connor Mullins.
Wildcats junior forward Arion Simmons broke his career high of 22 in the first half with 24. He broke it earlier this season with 22, and he just broke it tonight. He has 31 points so far and counting against the Vaqueros tonight, and the big man out of Little Rock hasn't started that much this season until tonight. He's having a big one tonight. Big part of this game. Back to you guys.
Simmons, just what a day. An 18-point game here, and Johnson at the line. That's no good. Well, free throws, I mean, UTRGV's been getting there. That's 28 attempts, but they've had 9 misses. That's huge when you're down 18 points like this. Zone again, Allen again, buries one. His second 3.
And perfect from behind the arc, and again, it's that inside-outside style that ACU has kind of adopted this season, because when you have these key performances from guys like Arion Simmons that can hurt you in the paint, then Emmanuel Allen, Corian Mason from the perimeter, it's almost like this ACU offense is no wonder why they're number 1 in the conference in scoring.
Foul on Jay-Sean Jackson. Second foul for the ACU freshman, and it puts Taylor to the line.
At the line number 30, Raekwon Taylor.
So you're down 21. You've missed 9 free throws. And there's a chance to stay in the game if you make those. And Taylor's got one more coming as Morris subs back in. And when you're not making the threes in the half-court execution's not there, gets a little challenging for the Vaqueros. Puts a lot of pressure on their offense.
It does, and still some time left. You know they have some fight in them again. This is like a heavyweight fight between 2 teams. It's still ACU just got to close it out, play disciplined ball, milk the clock, and come out with the victory for their 5th straight on a 5-game win streak.
Oh, into the corner. That's a little high. Looking for Reggie Miller. You know, Miller's listed at 6 foot. I think there's questions out there if he actually is 6 feet tall. That pass a little too high from Arion Simmons.
You know, there are some reasonable, rational questions there, Zach. But again, to Reggie's credit is he may not have the height, physically, but he has a height when it becomes to he's a player that plays with heart every single possession, toughness, just bringing it on, especially on the defensive side of the ball, guarding players, guarding point guards, 94 feet. of the entire basketball court and just being a great on-the-court leader, kind of an extension for Brett Tanner on the floor for his teammates.
You know, we came in talking about it at ACU, listed right now at about 7th place in the standings. Simmons, no good, and then a foul here. It'll be free throws at the other end. And I think it's interesting to note that Wildcats trying to push their way up a little higher, climbing up the standings. But when they play at this potential, nobody wants to see this ACU team come March and come the WAC tournament.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Zach. And again, these performances right here with a potential continuing their and increasing their win streak to 5 games. But it's not just that, but it's the way that they've been playing. It just sends a message to the rest of the conference, like New Mexico State's of the world, the Grand Canyons of the world, and even their rival in Stephen F. Austin said, hey, seems like ACU has kind of found their identity back that they really didn't play with against those top 3 teams in the conference. But again, this is a confidence boost win streak right here for ACU, doing a great job against a tough team in UTRGV.
And you saw it during our ESPN halftime report that Sam Houston fell today, now 9-3 in the WAC, and ACU's got a date with them in Huntsville later on this season. Under 5 minutes to go. 17-point advantage for the Wildcats. Daniels, corner pocket, 3-ball.
His second three-pointer of the day. And it just shows you why ACU, now with 78 points, it just shows you why ACU is the #1 scoring offense in the conference. And not only do they get it done defensively against some tough opponents in the WAC, but they get it done offensively as well from that inside-outside balance performance, and you can lighting up from deep as well. 8 of 21 from 3, 38%.
Daniels came in with 7 threes for the season, 2 today. Simmons got another one.
And as time is running out, look for the Vaqueros maybe to kind of put some more, increase the pressure, maybe go into a half-court trap or press to get some turnovers against the Wildcats, but still down by 20, heading into the final 3 minutes of this game. Let's see what they can do.
Guy, mid-range, no. Morris there for the rebound. He's bumped by Johnson. Quentin Johnson the second. You got to clarify which Johnson you're talking about. There's 3 UTRGV players with that last name. Justin Johnson from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Quentin Johnson from Oklahoma City. And Xavier Johnson from Dallas. 12 to shoot. Daniels lost it. Who's it off of? It'll stay here. And it'll stay here when we come back. ACU's got a 20-point lead on their way to their 5th consecutive victory. Back inside the Teague Special Events Center and a walk down Celebration Hall at Abilene Christian University. It's an indoor tennis court, and now it's an indoor basketball court here at ACU. What's coming up for UTRGV? A gauntlet. They head to Seattle Thursday, and then they'll be in California for the matchup with CBU, and then Seattle U again, and Sam Houston. Those are 2 of the top 3 teams that they see 3 times in a 4-game span. A challenging schedule coming up for the Vaqueros. No good from Guy out of the timeout.
If you're any team in the WAC and you see Seattle U in almost back-to-back games, you're like, oh my goodness, we really have to prepare for a team that can shoot lights out from deep, one of the best three-point shooting teams, and not just the WAC, but in the country in general. And we'll see how UTRGV prepares for that. We know that they're well-coached, well-disciplined enough to see if they can kind of be competitive against a team like Seattle U and like Sam Houston as well.
Yeah, Seattle U coming off of their first loss in WAC play to sit at 8-1. New Mexico State's at 8-1 as well, and Sam Houston at 9-3. Lob here, it's Guy! Oh. They try to go Simmons to Guy, and he is hacked. He'll shoot 2. Now they're getting Simmons involved in the passing game. He's got a couple of assists today to go along with his big-time double-double of 31 and 14, and here's Guy at the line.
So many things open up when you have key performances from Arion Simmons. You have that high-low action, especially now with the post. You don't really see post-to-post lob, post-to-post passes. You see guard-to-post, and here, ACU's next 4 games.
Yeah, how about this? They go to Tarleton on Saturday for that matchup with the Texans, and that's actually a week time as they will have the midweek off coming up at Sam Houston. That's a big one in Huntsville. And then Lamar and at SFA. It looks like their old Southland schedule.
Yeah. And we know that Lamar game here at home, it's also going to be a dogfight because what we saw in Beaumont was also a dogfight to the wire, nail-biter finish against the Cardinals for ACU.
Johnson, mid-range. How did he even catch it and then able to put it up and in? It's interesting. Lamar is the best, worst team in any conference. They don't have a conference win, but they have played everybody close. They have yet to play blowouts. They just hang in every game. Haven't been on the winning side of things, though, but watch out for those Cardinals as that program continues to recruit and get better.
And Zach, it just speaks to the greatness and to the toughness of the WAC, is that even if you have, like, for example, right now, UTRGV team who is, I think we can all agree, is better than what their record shows, and the Lamar team is not only when you play teams like Abilene Christian, but you bring in every single night and see what your team can do on a 5v5 match where anything can happen anywhere.
Well, the smallest guy on the floor getting the rebounds, and then he's bumped is Daniels by Xavier Johnson. This will be free throws the other way for ACU as they're in the bonus. Up by 17 to 11 to go. Look at this. At 5'7". Then he gets fouled.
And speaking of Damian Daniels with his rebounds, that was his first defensive rebound. He's got 4 total rebounds. 3 of them come from the offensive end. I mean, I think it just speaks to the hustle and the tenacity that this ACU team plays with. Also transitioning to the UTRGV, they also got a good backcourt that can rebound. And again, that's all about discipline and effort, because when you're guards, you're like, okay, my job is not to rebound. But if you do it anyways, it just adds more energy and adds more benefits to your team, more threats.
Out of bounds, it'll stay at this end as the lead is at 18 for Abilene Christian on their way to a blowout victory. Quite honestly, this will be their first pull-away win in this winning streak. They beat California Baptist by just 9. Oh, and there's the 3 from Nelson to get it back to 15.
But a little late for the Vaqueros to get something going behind the arc. That was something that they needed to start with early, especially starting in the second half.
A foul at this end on Taylor, and Guy returns to the stripe for the Wildcats. But yeah, so this winning streak, it's been a 9-point win over California Baptist, and then that remarkable, crazy comeback win against these Vaqueros. You see Guy get fouled. So ACU won that game by 2. And then they beat Lamar by 3 and Chicago State by 4 here on Wednesday. And so a 15-point lead is something they haven't really experienced as of late. Their last double-digit win was January 1st at Dixie State.
That's been a long time, and it goes back to a point that you made earlier, Zach, and the season for ACU has been about streaks. And something that Coach Tanner said during the shows that'll always stick with me is that they're trying to have a good season. They recognize they're not going to win all the games, but they're trying to have a good season, and they are throughout the streaks because they've, strengthened and learned some things against some top teams in the conference. Then you battle it out, and you test your team and what they do in final key possessions against teams like UTRGV, Lamar's of the world, and now in a 5-game win streak, you're back to Wildcat basketball. All good signs point here in Abilene for ACU basketball.
Justin Johnson to the line, and he's, I would say, sort of quietly on his way to a 20-point game. 5 out of 14 from the field, but 8 out of 13 from the foul line.
Oh, Cameron's still running to the bench right there, running to the student managers of ACU. Again, it's all about hustle, and you'll see those type of things right here when you're a team that prides itself on the little things, talking about hustle and diving for loose balls and things of that nature.
A minute 26 to go as Abilene Christian on their way. Johnson 3. The other Johnson rebound, but he walked with it.
Yeah, that was a little tricky situation right there. Felt like he had contact. He couldn't have enough room to kind of plant both feet, but again, too little too late for the Vaqueros to make a run right here.
On their way to 2-9 in the WAC, and again, top 10 head to Vegas. They'll be fighting for that final, maybe final spot or final couple of spots there to get into the WAC tournament. And Abilene Christian, as we mentioned coming in, they were just a game out of 4th place. Steele, 2-man game, Guy!
And you see him right there flexing as he's running back on defense. A lot of highlights here for both ends. Which just what an exciting game, even though the score says something else. What an exciting game in Edinburgh that happened as well between these two teams. Good thing that these two teams play in the WAC.
No, Nelson no good on that 3. ACU, another home victory. 3 straight home wins and heading towards their 5th win in a row. I mean, it's quite the performance from ACU here today, and as they're going to get a couple of wins on the weekend.
Well, they're back to Wildcat basketball, and if you're Coach Tanner, this is where you want to be. But again, you're still not satisfied. You're playing for what will happen in March.
Nelson will get that one off. And that'll do it as ACU wins their 5th straight and goes to 16-7 overall, 7-5 in the WAC and UTRGV to 7-16 this year, and 2-9 in WAC play. A big performance from Abilene Christian. And Joseph, how about the performance of Arion Simmons, our player of the game?
Well, just to quote Jordan Harris, one of our media relations people here at ACU, is what a monster that he is, Zach, on both ends. What a performance he's had career night and leading the way for the Wildcats here in the win against the Vaqueros.
Yeah, a 17-point victory. And Abilene Christian right in the thick of this race as we get closer towards WAC Vegas here in a little bit. ACU shooting at 47% from the game and forcing 24 UTRGV turnovers. And our player of the game's coming over to hang out with us and to talk about this victory. Arion Simmons getting high fives, working his way through the crowd, and he's putting on a headset. And our player of the game, Arion Simmons, 31-14 today.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations on the win. How does 5 straight wins sound? I guess we'll start with that.
We're finally out the slump. Does it feel good? Coach just telling us just stay together and just play together. So that's what we've been doing the last 5 games.
Well, you get out to a good start here today. You know, during this winning streak, you've played some really close ones all the way down to the wire. Today, you get out to a big lead and you hold on to it. How'd you feel about the way your team played today?
Great, great. Coach just telling us to just put our foot on their necks, and that's what we did the whole game.
31 points for you today. How are you feeling out there offensively?
Good, great. This is my mom's first game. She comes to the game, so I know I have to show out today.
Yeah, I mean, well, what can you say about the way your offense played together as a whole?
Together, the fellas doing great. Just finding me, giving me the ball. If they double, me passing the ball out, just sharing the ball, that's great. So kudos to the guys.
How important in front of the home crowd is it to protect the home court here when you're playing these big conference games?
Great. WAC play is very tough. Every day is a tough game. So we just going out there just playing hard for 40 minutes.
Well, Arion, a fun fact for you today. You were the first ACU player in 6 years to have a 30-point game. Congratulations on that.
Appreciate it.
And congrats on the win here today as well.
You.
Arion Simmons, our player of the game, as Abilene Christian wins it by a final of 83-66 over UTRGV. This has been a presentation of the Western Athletic Conference on ESPN. All games airing on the ESPN networks or streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. Until next time, Zach Carlisle, Joseph Jaffa, Connor Mullins, the whole crew saying so long. Take care. Good night from Abilene, Texas.